Happy Friday, and this is my Fuentes Fit tip for the day. So number one is to know thyself. All right, so that can be a tall order, especially if you're younger or if you're not as self-reflective. But if you want to have a healthy lifestyle and a sustainable one that does not include bad behavior with food, and just living your optimal life, it is truly knowing yourself. So what that means is you need to sit down, maybe that's journaling or just reflecting and meditating on what works best for you. In the generation that we live in now, we are inundated with so much information, and it gives you a dopamine hit sometimes. And I know it does for me because I love learning and I'm always going to be a student. But sometimes there's too much information, and sometimes you're listening to too many people and it gets confusing. So I've known for a very long time that I respond well to high protein, moderate fat, low carb. And to be honest, carnivores out there, love you, but sometimes I can do higher carb, lower fat, and I'm okay. All right. So the key is sticking with whole foods, ultimately, like 90% of your diet. But life happens. So if you want to indulge a little bit, know thyself, know what you can handle, right? And so after trial and error, you realize what are foods that trigger you to eat more and what foods you can have that won't mess up your diet. So take notice of that, right? I love protein leveraging, and I'll talk more about that in a later video, but each meal that I have has about 40 to 60 grams of protein in it. And I eat 2.5, 3 times a day. So that keeps me full, and I'm not craving food after that. Another thing I have been reminded of lately in knowing myself is that when I have a restrictive way of thinking, an all or nothing way of thinking, that leads to binges. And yes, there are drug foods and sugar is addictive, blah, blah, blah. I know that, okay? However, what leads to bad behavior for me, honestly, is having that restrictive thinking. So when I used to compete, and before my coaches told me about macros, it was a set meal plan. And I had to eat this and this and this on, every single day, every hour, whatever. And I binged after competition a lot of times because it was so restrictive in what I could and could not eat. Once they shifted to macros, it's like the heavens opened up. And I was like, where have you been? So that gave me flexibility within constraints. So the second time bad behavior around food crept up is when I was trying to be super perfect carnivore. And that led to bad behavior because, again, it was super restrictive. And my way of thinking is if I mess up, then, oh, well, forget about it. Rather than just relaxing and, eating meat like I love to do. And if I have a little bit of this or this that's off plan, big deal, right? As long as I'm mostly meat-based, which is what I prefer. So that is a recent reminder of knowing thyself. So I hope this helps you a little bit because in your journey is your own journey, and you need to be true to yourself and listen to your gut, right? Don't stop learning, but know what's right for you.